welcome back, my fairies. I am Matsuyorific, and we are back with episode 5 of Miraculous Season 5 Illusion. It's finally out, thank goodness. So yeah. As always, for those of you who are new to this channel, the way I like to review these episodes is I like to talk about what we already know about the episode first, and then I'm gonna go watch it. And because YouTube is notorious with copyright on clips and stuff, I will instead be showing you artwork that I have done. So that is going to be right over here on the side here. And yeah, so this episode, we don't know a whole lot about this episode, but we do know a little bit. We know that this is going to be an episode that is focused somewhat on Lila, but also around their friends. Like, we've seen clips of Nino and Alia talking with Marinette and Adrian, and it looks like they're discussing adults who have been akumatized. Because we see pictures of Gabriel next to Collector. We see a picture of Jagged Stone. Someone pointed out to me that we see a picture of Captain Hardrock. So it's mostly adults that have been akumatized. So we don't know quite yet if they're trying to figure out who Monarch is or what exactly they were discussing, but we do know that they were discussing that. And also Adrian is actually being allowed to eat lunch at school. That's going to be a big thing, probably due to the fact that Gabriel is actually trying to let up a little bit on how strict he is with Adrian. We've seen that in episodes 7 and 8. But this will technically be our first time getting to see that because, well, we actually haven't seen those episodes yet, supposedly, because they haven't happened yet canonically. But yeah, this would technically be our first real glimpse at Gabriel letting up on his strictness with Adrian, which will be interesting. But yeah, he's actually going to get to eat lunch at school with his friends. At this point, he has not yet figured out that his feelings for Marinette are actually that he's in love with her. He hasn't quite figured that out yet because he hasn't had that whole thing with Kagami. I don't know if Alia has already seen that Adrian is starting to like Marinette at this point, because we've only seen because canonically only up to episode 4 has happened, and episode 4 was more focused on Marinette's side of things, so we'll have to see. I do have a feeling this is going to focus more on Marinette than Adrian, because Lila is involved, but Adrian does seem to be appearing on screen a lot with Marinette, so hopefully they'll get equal screen time. I'm okay if she gets a little bit more screen time than him, because it does seem to be focusing on her and Lila. And, sorry if my avatar starts going everywhere. Leo just came out for pets. So I guess that's a good point for me to just go ahead and stop rambling and go watch the episode. So I will see you guys in a bit. Okay, and I'm back, and I've got a cat on me again. He got off my lap while I was watching the episode, and now he's back. Okay, he's laying down. So yeah, that was interesting. A lot of stuff, we get a lot of stuff in this episode, and yeah, I had to pause a lot while watching this because it's like I had to just take in a lot of stuff that was happening. So I guess we'll get to that when we get to it in the review. So we start off with a news report. We get Nadia, Alec, Bob Roth, and Mr. Banana talking in the newsroom about everything that's going on with Monarch having the Miraculous, and also all that going on with he's handing out powers and everything. We get there's actual interviews with Mr. Ramier and Mr. Damocles and some other people as well. Chloe obviously is ridiculous. But yeah, and they're just basically discussing everything. We see Alex's character progression, not only in the way that he acts, how he's like, oh, we should all just, we should all be positive and be hopeful and love each other, and that'll give Monarch less people to akumatize. But also, his appearance has changed too. I do like this new look that he's got, much better than the golden look that we got at the end of Wishmaker. This looks much better. It's a lighter color scheme than he had before. His pants are now white, his shirt's a lighter color, he's got this light blonde wig that he's wearing. Like, it's the same kind of wig that he had before, but it's not like bright gold, and it doesn't like clash with his skin tone, so it looks a lot better now. I'm glad they fixed his look. And then of course Bob Roth is like, who cares about that? Have you heard about my son? I mean, this hot new artist XY, he's got an album coming out. It's like, is he like actively trying to avoid the subject of XY being his son in order to avoid the subject of favoritism? That was something that I noticed there. Just my analytical brain going off a little. But yeah, that was certainly an interesting thing. Yeah, they're just discussing that stuff. And then we cut to Plag playing with Adrian's alliance and getting the alliance Adrian to say stuff about cheese being like good for you and stuff. And then Adrian comes back in from the bathroom and is like, that is actually really creepy how that is, with my face and everything and my voice. And he goes down to try to talk to his father, but then he sees Natalie and she's like, he's not in there, he's waiting for you, and he's not in his office, he's waiting for you in the kitchen. And Adrian's like, in the kitchen? Are you sure about that? And it's like, so we finally get the establishment scene of what I've been freaking out about recently, which is, who is this man and what has he done with Gabriel Agreste? And even Adrian is weirded out by the fact that his father is being cheerful and cooking him breakfast and telling him to call him Papa. It's like, because I actually thought that was just something from when I was watching previous episodes. I didn't talk about it because I thought maybe that was just the French version, but no, like, he comes in and calls him father, and Gabriel's like, please, Adrian, call me Papa. The subtitles say, call me Dad, and I'm interested to see how that's going to play out in English. Is he going to tell him to call him Dad? Like, later on, the subtitles say Daddy. It's like, that's actually kind of creepy. Like, yes, I still call my dad Daddy, but I'm also a girl, and, I've also, even as an adult, I still embrace my whole my love of being cute and everything, which is part of the reason why my avatar looks like this, because I can't help it. I love cute stuff, to paraphrase Kanji. Best boy. Anyways, yeah, Gabriel is, asking him how he wants his pancakes and his eggs, but we get this scene where a little bit of grease splashes onto his apron, and he just freaks out like he thinks someone is attacking him, and I guess that's his monarch instincts kicking in, which actually does come into play later, but I can't help but wonder what happened to the pancake that was in that pan. Because, like, when Adrian comes in and Gabriel's asking him how he likes his pancakes, there's a pancake in the pan. But then when he freaks out and he is about to smack somebody with that frying pan, all Rapunzel style, it's like, Gabriel, you are not Rapunzel, your son is. But he's, like, about to smack somebody and realizes that there's nobody there, and that Adrian is watching him right now. But it's like, what happened to the pancake that's in that pan? I'm sorry, but I just want to know what happened to it. But then, Adrian, after letting it settle that his father is acting this way, he's like, yeah, the alliance, is it kind of weird that it's my face and everything? That's kind of weird to me, and it's like, does it have to be my face? And Gabriel's like, well, that's the point. It's just an image, it's not you. And this is going to free you from your modeling career. And I feel bad that we've grown so distant over this past year after your mother left and everything, that I couldn't even tell that you didn't want to be a model anymore. And it's like, oh my gosh, he really is trying. But there's also a part of me that knows that with everything with him getting cataclysmed recently, and the fact that they are hinting towards the fact that he might not have much time left, because we do see in episode 7 that the cataclysm is spreading. It's like, is he doing this because he really wants to be a better father for Adrian, or is he doing this because he knows he doesn't have that much time left? I'm thinking that it's kind of a combination of both. Like, he knows he doesn't have much time left, so he's going to use the time that he has to try to be a better father to Adrian, so that if worse comes to worse and he's not able to get the miraculous and fix everything, then at the very least Adrian would have some nice memories of his father to remember him by, and not just that cold, distant man that we've seen for the past 4 seasons. But it's still kind of freaky, and even Adrian asked him, "Are you sure you're okay?" And I'm like, that's what I'm thinking! Because, like, I was watching this with my friend Dem, and we were just like, did the cataclysm damage something in his brain or something? Like, what happened to him? He was, like, this is just a complete 180. And I'm actually wondering if this is maybe how he was before everything happened with Emily. Because he actually points out that he and Adrian used to be close, and then Emily disappeared and he became a shut-in, and they grew distant from each other. So it's like, is this actually how he was before Emily got sick and died, fell into a coma, whatever she's in right now? Cause if this is how he was back then, I could actually see why Emily fell for him if he was actually this kind man in the past. Cause this is a complete 180 from how we've seen him in the past 4 seasons. So that was definitely something interesting to see. And he's like, but back on the topic of Alliance, he actually tries to reassure Adrian that Alliance freeing Adrian from his modeling career is also gonna give Gabriel more time, so now they'll have more time to spend with each other. And it's like, I'm pretty sure that's also like his excuse for creating Alliance, but we all know the real reason he created Alliance was so that he could transfer the powers of the miraculous into the Alliance that his victims were wearing, and so that he can safely give out the powers and without suspicion and all that. And this episode actually does go into more of his alibi too. He really locks down his alibi this episode. My goodness, I can see why they haven't figured out that it's the Alliance yet. So yeah, they continue to have their little father-son breakfast time, and it's actually really cute and sweet, and makes you wish you could enjoy it more because you know who Gabriel is, and you just know the pain that's going to occur at the end of the season. Just it makes it hurt more. But yeah, so then we cut to Alia and Marinette, and they're talking over the phone. Alia is talking through Alliance, and Marinette is talking over the phone. And I have to say, I'm honestly surprised that Gabriel hasn't set up some sort of bugging device for Alia's Alliance. Because, like, he's able to track when people go a certain long distance and stuff, because he was trying to use that to figure out who Ladybug was. And Marinette caught on to that before getting an Alliance, so she was able to say, yeah, that's too dangerous, I'm not going to use it, so he won't be able to find her that way. But, like, Alia's talking to Marinette over the phone about Ladybug stuff, and she's even still wearing her little fanny pack, which I found interesting. So even though she doesn't have tricks anymore, she's still wearing that, which I guess makes sense. You know, it's like, you know, yeah, still wear it, because why wouldn't you wear it? Even because for as far as everyone else knows, you just started wearing this, so why would you stop wearing it as soon as the miraculous gets stolen? And then when Ladybug gets them back, why did you start wearing it again? But yeah, so it does make sense that she continued to wear it. Plus, you know, her best friend made it for her, and it's designed to match her outfit. But it does look kind of weird with her wearing the fanny pack and also carrying her purse. It's like, why do you need both? But anyways, that was just a little detail that I noticed. But yeah, they're having a conversation about how Monarch could possibly be handing out the miraculous powers when the victims don't have the miraculouses on them when they're deakumatized. And Ollie actually comes up with a very interesting theory that maybe he's using fetch to retrieve the miraculous. Like he's using fetch on the miraculous before handing them out, so that when Ladybug and Cat Noir are able to deakumatize someone, then they get then he uses fetch to bring them back to him before they can actually retrieve them, which would actually be really clever. But I also think they would notice for some of the more obvious miraculous, because like in this episode, supposedly, you know, Voyage is being used, the whole horse miraculous. It's like you would notice those sunglasses. But anyways, so they're actually trying to figure out why exactly, you know, how that actually works. And I have to say that theory is definitely a good theory. But obviously they're wrong. And then they meet up at the school, and Nino comes along and is like, "Hey guys, what you talking about?" And they of course had that little cover story of, "Oh yeah, we're just talking about this video game. It's really tough." And then Nino looks like all upset and everything, like, they're hiding stuff from me again. You know, I don't know what they're hiding, but I don't like it. But, you know, obviously it's her best friend. Obviously they're gonna have stuff that's just between them. But anyways, so yeah, there's also a parent-teacher conference, which you know, Miss Bustier even mentions in the classroom. And that was actually something that I forgot to mention during the whole breakfast scene, is that Gabriel even brings up the fact that there's a parent-teacher conference going on at school. And he cleared his entire schedule to go to this parent-teacher conference, which again surprises Adrian. It's like, are you sure you're okay? Like, you're leaving the house? You're going to my school? What? It's not even he's sending Natalie and using the video thing there, or even just, yeah, like he could have just called Miss Bustier and over video phone and then attended the conference over the screen, but no, he's going in person, and it's like, what? Yeah, anyways, back to the actual episode and sequences. So Nino actually talks to Adrian in the classroom and is talking about this resistance that he's putting together, and Nino and like everybody has a condiment code name. He's Commander Ketchup, and Adrian, if he joins the resistance, would be Comrade Mayo. Nino is actually kind of painful to watch in this episode, but it also ties in with stuff that happened in season 4, which we'll get into. But yeah, Adrian is like a little confused about what Nino's talking about, but he's like, oh yeah, we'll talk about it later. And then they go to the cafeteria, and they even confirm that Gabriel is actually allowing Adrian to eat at school now. And Nino is showing him around the cafeteria, and it's actually really cute. Adrian is having his first time in the cafeteria, and he's like, I get to choose whatever I want? That's so cool! And then Marinette comes along right behind him, and it's like, I forget who used the Alliance, but like somebody used the Alliance, and Marinette brings up, like, doesn't it feel weird you being on all these rings? And it's like, yes. Yes, it does. And I am glad that we got that moment in episode 4 where she herself mentions how it's kind of weird that Alliance looks and sounds just like Adrian, and you almost can't tell the difference. So I am glad, because that shows that she's being considerate towards the real Adrian in that moment, and then that comes back here too. I am kind of glad we got to see her doing that first, even before Adrian finds it weird, because that's showing, you know, she's actually seeing him as a real person now and not just this boy that she has a crush on. But she actually, yeah, I did like that. But you know, she brings that up again. It's like, doesn't it feel weird? And Adrian does excuse it, just like his father did. It's like, oh yeah, it frees up my schedule, so now I get to spend time with the people I love, like my family, my friends, and you. And he specifically says, and you, which Alia which Alia notices. He's like, yeah, and now we can see each other outside of school too. Maybe we could go see a movie or something. And then Nino goes to sit down, then Adrian goes to sit down with Nino, and Alia's like, did Adrian just say he wants to spend time with you specifically? And Marinette is like blushing and like, no, but I can't do it. What if I lost my miraculous because I was love struck, and lost focus? And it's like, yeah, I could see that being a concern, considering the fact that's how she lost the other miraculous. And Alia's like, don't worry, I'll keep you focused. But where were you keeping her focused in Risk? She probably should have actually brought that up to Alia, because Alia would have been able to think about it without having those heart-shaped glasses on, to be like, no, maybe this isn't such a good idea. But Alia probably also would have said that it was a good idea, because it actually was a good idea to give the miraculous out to somebody that she thought she knew and didn't have a mark. It's like, he's the only person in Paris who doesn't have a mark. It makes sense she would give it to him. But, yeah, like, that was partially Felix tricking her. That had nothing to do with Monarch or anything. It was just bad timing. But anyways, they go and sit down at the table, and oh my gosh. Nino needed to be slapped so hard. I mean, Alia kicks him multiple times, but yeah, she kicks him multiple times because he is talking about a lot of really sensitive information. And Alia at least knows that Ladybug is sitting right next to them while Nino is revealing his secret identity to two people who shouldn't be knowing his identity. And so he tells Marinette and Adrian that he was Carapace and Alia was Reina Rouge, and then Alia kicks him under the table and is like, you idiot, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, it's fine, because we can't get our miraculous anymore, so it's not like we can help a superhero, it's not like we've got identities to hide anymore. And it's like, you idiot. I know you don't know that Ladybug is sitting right next to you, but Ladybug is sitting right next to you! And then he's like, oh, but it's fine, Adrian already knew. It's like, you told Adrian? And Marinette is obviously very understandably concerned by the fact that Adrian already was told their identities. It's like, did you know this? And Ollie's like, no, I had no idea he told him. Like, oh my, like, she kicks him a lot under the table. It is well deserved. But after they leave the cafeteria, there is not enough Nino physical punishment. I'm sorry, he needed to be slapped so many times, but we'll get to that. So Lila comes along just like we saw in the trailer, and it's like, oh, hi Adrian, can I sit with you? And Marinette is like, no, nope, you are not allowed to sit here, the seat is taken, you're done. And Alia, oh my gosh, Alia, why do you still not believe Marinette when she says that Lila is not trustworthy? My gosh. Alia tries to say, Marinette, it's fine, she could sit here. And Nino is like, yeah, but we're kind of talking about something sensitive here. It probably is better that she not sit with us. So, like, Adrian actually manages to dissolve the situation. Is like, I'm sorry, Lila, but maybe You know, we're kind of just having a conversation here, but maybe tomorrow, maybe tomorrow I'll sit with you. So Adrian is able to defuse the situation, and Nino is like, this is like the one time where I will agree with Nino here, is that, yeah, they're talking about sensitive information. Lila really should not be a part of this conversation. And something happens at the end, but I won't get to it. So Lila decides to take her revenge by leaking to the public that Gabriel Agreste is eating at school. And even Wayham shows up, and I'm like, Wayham, why? You are friends with Adrian now. You shouldn't be acting like a fanboy. This is not how friends act. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. This would be like if, because like, you guys know that I'm friends with TVC. This would be like if I was like, being all fangirly and everything because like, oh my gosh, it's TVC. Even though she's my friend. It's like, no. You don't treat your friends that way regardless of their status. Even if they are more popular than you, you don't treat them that way because they're your friends. They are people that you should be caring about. If you care about them, you wouldn't treat them like this. It's like, oh, Wayham. Why? Wayham does kind of bother me. Like, he didn't at first, because it did actually seem like he was going to treat Adrian like a person, like they were friends, they were talking and stuff. But then we see subsequent scenes of him going, Adrian! And, like, freaking out, like, fangirling over Adrian. It's like, Wayham, why? You're supposed to be his friend? Anyways, so they go into the boiler room because, the fans are going crazy over Adrian. And Nino, I wanted to slap him. I paused the episode and was repeatedly asking for somebody to slap him. Alia, slap him, please. This makes me so mad. So he's like, okay, well, we need to figure out exactly how Monarch is giving people the powers of the miraculous and stuff. So we're going to force an akumatization and film it so that we can figure out how Monarch is handing out the miraculous powers. And he starts going on about over the parents because they're having the parent-teacher conference today. And, parents are always so quick to anger. So if we get one of the parents akumatized during the conference, then we can film it. And who better than Adrian's old man, Gabriel? And Adrian is clearly not comfortable with this at the start because, like, his father is actually trying. And yeah, I agree. Gabriel is actually trying to be a good parent. Why are you gonna do this to him? And even Alia and Marinette are talking against it. Like, that's kind of cruel to try to force someone into getting akumatized. Coming up with a situation where they're going to get upset and be subject to getting akumatized. Like, that is actually really cruel. Why would you do that to somebody? And he's like, oh, but it's fine because it's for the greater good. It's like, no. Just no. But he manages to convince Adrian and Marinette that it's a good idea. Alia is completely against it the whole time, and she's even like, if Ladybug were here, she would be against it. Don't you think so, Marinette? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, please agree with me? And then even Marinette is like, well, I mean, if it's to help Ladybug and Cat Noir, then maybe this would be a good idea. Maybe she'd be okay with it. It's like, Marinette, you just had an entire episode where you were trying to convince your friend that it was too dangerous to do stuff like this. Sorry, this episode's making me mad. At the very least, this whole sequence makes me angry. Nino is able to convince Marinette and Adrian that it's a good idea. And Alia's like, Adrian, you're against this, right? It's your father. And he's also like, well, I mean, if it helps Ladybug and Cat Noir. then maybe. If it helps them, then I guess maybe. It's like, Adrian, sweetie, I love you, but this is your father. You should be against this. I get why he is thinking about it like this because he is Cat Noir and he would also like to put a stop to this, but especially since, you know, he is over Ladybug, so if he no longer has a reason to be Cat Noir, then that's then he doesn't really have a reason to want to be with Ladybug anymore because he's finally getting over her and stuff. Hi, monkey. Oh, yes, you want those. Yeah, so they actually agree to this whole plan. So, oh my goodness. I could sort of see how their plan would be believable with Marinette. Because the plan is to have Marinette, Adrian, and then Alia go into the parent-teacher conference with food in their hands, act clumsy, and then spill the food and smash it on Gabriel's expensive-looking suit. And Marinette is believable because she is clumsy. Even Gabriel knows this, especially since he saw firsthand how clumsy she was in episode 3. And she even tells Monarch that, oh yeah, I'm so clumsy and everything. That's probably why Ladybug didn't trust me all that much. But then Adrian comes in with a plate of food and acts all clumsy. And it's like, you're not fooling anybody, Adrian. Your father knows you're not clumsy. Your father knows that you are very poised and all that. And then it still doesn't set him off, partially because Lila actually warned him earlier in the episode that, you know, someone was going to try to get him akumatized so they could do this thing to expose Monarch. Like, I actually wonder if Alia, or if Lila knows, or at least suspects that he's Monarch, because, like, she actually gives him this look when she warns him, come on, we both know, like, why would I be interested in this plan to expose Monarch? Because and then she gives him this look, like, come on, really? And then she excuses herself, it's like, because you're the target. But anyways, yeah, so then Nino realizes that Gabriel is not getting super angry yet, so he turns to Alia and is like, okay, well, now it's your turn, you try. And Alia's like, no, I'm not doing it. No. And then Nino's like, but it's for the greater good. So she's like, fine. So she goes in with the most unconvincing act ever, like, oh no, I'm so clumsy, whoops, and then just smashes it onto him. Oh my goodness. Like, you know she's over it. She didn't want to do that. So Gabriel puts on this whole show of, oh my gosh, I'm so offended that your students would act this way, and there's all this poor health choices as far as the food is concerned, and Adrian will never be allowed to come here to the school again. I'm going to be pulling him from school. And he puts on this whole show of taking Adrian home, and it almost looks like he might decide to break his rule of not akumatizing Adrian, because Adrian looks upset. Like, he looks like he's holding back his tears and everything. And then Adrian goes up to his room, and Gabriel goes to his little Monarch room and is like, and transforms and everything. And okay, I can finally get rid of the angry face because now we can move on to the rest of the episode. I'm sorry. I'm not saying it was bad or anything. It just, like, everything felt in character for the most part, but it just, Nino needed to be slapped. He really did. But anyways, so he transforms and he uses the illusion power to create an illusion of Gabriel throwing a fit in his office, but it's not quite the same temper tantrum that he supposedly threw in Collector, but rather it's him getting frustrated because he's trying to be a better parent, and, you know, why would they do this to him? No matter what he does, he fails at being a parent, and it's and Adrian is witnessing this because, you know, Nino told him, oh, you need to go film it, instead of telling him to get out of there because a supervillain's about to appear. No, Nino's like, oh, you need to film this. This is what we've been trying to do. We need this footage for so we can help Ladybug and Cat Noir. And so Adrian films it, and obviously Monarch knows that he's going to be filmed, so he creates this illusion of this little lightning bolt or lightning energy that surrounds Collector after he's akumatized, because it's all an illusion. And then Adrian sends that video to Nino so that Nino and Alia can review the footage, and then, you know, Adrian hangs up the phone and goes to transform into Cat Noir, and then Marinette manages to sneak off after Collector supposedly breaks down the door and collects the gate. It's all an illusion. It's a very elaborate illusion, I have to admit. He had a really good plan here. But you know, his illusion shows him collecting the gate. Nobody touches the spot where the gate's supposed to be, so they just run. So the illusion is still intact. There is actually a point later where the illusion does break, because Ladybug does touch it with a yo-yo, but I'll get to that later. Marinette sneaks off to go transform. Alia goes with Nino, and obviously, you know, oh yeah, they split up, but Alia goes with Nino to make sure that he's not out looking for Marinette, because she's gonna have to go fight as Ladybug. So yeah, Ladybug and Cat Noir go and fight the Collector, and then Monarch collects more miraculous powers. I think he collects like a total of 5, but the ones that I remember him using, like the important ones are Venom, are the bee, the horse, and the mouse. Oh, and he's also got the fox, and I guess the butterfly would be considered the 5th. So he does have 5 miraculous active right now. So he goes, so Monarch himself uses Voyage to go into the sewer so that he can set up his trap. He activates Venom and then uses Multitude to create 8 small monarchs that all have Venom active, so that he can set this trap for Ladybug and Cat Noir. Oh yeah, he also got the Rooster. That was the 5th power. He got the Rooster power so that he could give himself the power of invisibility. So that when Ladybug and Cat Noir follow Collector into the sewer, and I'm guessing he actually created like an actual Voyage so that the illusion could go through, so that Ladybug and Cat Noir could actually follow him into the sewer. Or did they follow him into the sewer, or did they find a manhole? I think they actually followed him into the sewer. Let me find that part of the episode real quick. Okay, no, yeah, they do follow, yeah, because Ladybug gets a lucky charm, and they do follow him into Voyage, so I guess he did create an actual Voyage portal for them to fall into, and they followed the illusion in through there. But Ladybug's lucky charm turns into a bag of grated cheese. And I love Cat Noir's line of, oh, Plagg would really love this lucky charm. And which makes sense because, you know, Ladybug has met Plagg a couple of times, so she would know his cheese obsession, especially since she actually did spend time with Plagg in the Kuroneko episode. But anyways, that was a fun little line, I will admit. But yeah, so they follow Collector into the sewer, or Collector. I need to be using those air quotes, but they follow him into the sewer, and Monarch is enacting his plan. He paralyzes Cat Noir, and Ladybug is trying to figure out, okay, what just happened? Why is Cat Noir paralyzed? I don't see anything. And then she looks down and sees the invisible monarchs are standing in a puddle of water, which allows her to see them because she can see where the water is bending around his form. so she uses the cheese to attract the sewer rats, which is interesting. And they actually look really cute, I'm not gonna lie. Like, the way that, like, these rat models that they use are adorable. Maybe they're meant to be mice and not rats, but, like, they are adorable. Like, oh my goodness. Like, I would venture to even say these are even cuter than the rats that we see in Ratatouille. They are actually really cute. So she uses the cheese to attract them to go after the little mini monarchs, who then, you know, combines back together and runs off. So since his plan failed, he goes ahead and just has Collector acting like, oh, it's too late for me, you know, I've tried to be a better father, but I failed, I'm never gonna be a good father. And Ladybug's like, it's not too late, anyone can change, and like basically giving himself an excuse to de-akumatize himself. And he, like, basically, you know, resists the Akuma and everything. And this was also really clever of him to do, because by doing this, it prevents them from taking back his tablet because if they try to take his tablet, which is an illusion, then they'll break the illusion and realize that's not the real Gabriel. So he rejects the Akuma, but then falls. But he actually, like, it's unclear if he's trying to make it look like he's falling, but, like, he actually backs up and he opens his arms out, and it's like, that's not a very convincing illusion. But yeah, he falls into the water down below, which Ladybug freaks out, activates her aqua powers to go in after him, and then Cat Noir gets unparalyzed and is like, wait, what happened? But then it turns out that, oh, Gabriel was fine. He got out of the water, but it's actually the real Gabriel. Like, Monarch used the power of Voyage to go into the water so that he could actually come out of the water all wet and everything after he de-transforms back into Gabriel and actually comes out of the water and everything. So they take the real Gabriel back. Oh yeah, and I will say this itself was also really clever because they would have tried to take Gabriel back to his home, but since that's not the real Gabriel, he had to figure out a way of swapping himself with the illusion so that they could physically touch him without breaking the illusion, because now he's not an illusion, he's the real Gabriel. So yeah, he really had this plan locked down tight. Like, good on him. Like, he came up with this whole plan between talking to Lila and actually sitting in on the conference before Marinette walked into the classroom. So it's like, good on him. He is really using his brain this season. And hopefully this will actually put an end to everybody calling him a soft brain, because it's like, yes, his plans usually fail, but that's because Ladybug, you know, yes, she is smart too, but she also has the power of luck on her side. She has her lucky charms, and that's how she's able to always defeat him, because she's just as smart as he is, but she's also lucky. He doesn't have her luck, and that's why he fails, because a big part of it is luck. So if they didn't have her lucky charm, then they would be on equal footing. But yeah, he actually comes up with a way to outsmart them. And then we cut back to Alia and Nino, who are investigating the footage that Adrian got, and they see the little lightning bolt that he used for his illusion. And that shows, and they're like, oh, it's this little magic lightning that he uses to give them the power of the miraculous. So he's basically giving himself another cover story, so that it's not, oh, they're using the Alliance, it's, oh, it's this magic lightning that gives them the power of the miraculous. So that's why they stop looking for the powers of the miraculous when villains get de-akumatized later on, which does make sense. Now that I look back, yeah, we don't see them searching for miraculous in episodes 6, 7, or 8. So yeah, that makes sense. And then so afterwards, after the whole thing with them, looking at the footage on the Alliance, we get another scene of Nino and Alia apologizing to Gabriel and explaining that, look, we're sorry that we did this, but we were trying to do this to help Ladybug and Cat Noir. We wanted to figure out how Monarch hands out the miraculous powers and stuff. We didn't mean to, we didn't want to actually, we didn't mean to take it so far that Adrian got pulled out from school. We were just trying to help. We hope you'll forgive us. And obviously, he's got to keep up appearances, so Gabriel's like, yeah, I forgive you. I did kind of overreact, and I'm sorry too. Adrian will be allowed to go back to school. And then, finally, Ladybug puts back on her Ladybug pants and tells Nino that, that was really dangerous. You shouldn't do that. And, we appreciate you wanting to help, but please don't do this sort of thing again. It's dangerous. And she's still wearing her Ladybug, or her upgraded costume too, so she has not detransformed yet. This is all happening within those 5 minutes, because she's still transformed and everything. But, she scolds them for taking a huge risk. She thanks them for trying to help, but asks them not to do this again. Also, they do even have this extra little detail. Like, this goes into the animation, or to the... This is props to the modeling department themselves, but they actually took the time to show that the stain on Gabriel's outfit has faded a little bit, and that's partially because it got rubbed into his suit, but also because he was in the water, so that is going to wash some of it away. So that was a really good detail that they added. I just wanted to point that out. But yeah, Ladybug tells them, please don't take this risk again, and they're like, okay, we promise. But listen, Mr. Agreste, since you've forgiven us and everything, we'd be honored if you would help us out and join the Resistance. And I'm like, Nino, no, please don't invite Gabriel to the Resistance. He is Monarch. I know you don't know this, but no. But that also means that Adrian gets to have those moments in the Resistance with his father. And it's like, oh my gosh, why? No, don't, why? Why would you do this? Why? But, yeah, so he joins the Resistance, which means that he will now have insider information on these people who are trying to help Ladybug and Cat Noir, especially since he knows that Alia and Nino were heroes. And so, yeah, he knows that. They don't know that he knows this, but he does know this. And then Gabriel gets another scene where he talks to Adrian, and he actually apologizes for the fact that he had his little outburst. He's like, my anger spilled over again, but he basically apologizes for letting his anger spill over, for making such a public scene, and of course he'll be allowed to go back to school. And they have this really tender moment. It's like, I can't help but be sad at this because I know what's coming. It is inevitable for Adrian to find out that his father is Monarch, and there's always going to be that question of how much of this was Gabriel actually caring about his son and trying to be a good father, and how much of it was an alibi that he was giving himself. Like, even now, I'm unsure as to how much of this is Gabriel actually caring about Adrian and wanting to give him the best life possible up until he no longer can, and how much of it is him trying to cover for himself as Monarch. How much of it is him knowing he doesn't have much time left, and just like, and this is actually, I'm not saying that this is a detriment to the episode or anything. This is actually, I'm actually really happy that they're creating this super complex situation. It's like, yes, more of this. More of this, please. And then we get two more scenes after this. So the next scene is this almost really sweet moment of, they're building the Resistance even further. And it's all of their classmates who have gotten miraculous in the past Obviously, Luca and Kagami aren't here. It would be nice if Luca was there, but yeah, Luca and Kagami aren't here. Kagami actually makes sense because she doesn't go to school with them. Luca would make sense, though, because, you know, he does go to the same school as them, and he's Julika's brother. Yeah. So Nino, you know, goes over everybody's condiment code names. Oh yeah, that was another thing. When Cat Noir thanked Nino for telling him that it was the power of teleportation that Monarch or that the Collector had, he's like, no problem. And he like calls himself by his code name, Commander Ketchup. It's like, Nino, part of having a code name is that you don't call yourself by that in public. Nino is infuriating this episode, but I have to admit that it's all in character. But then, you know, the moment is ruined by Lila coming along, and you know that she's not here to actually help the Resistance. You know she's here because she wants inside intel that she could hopefully potentially give to Monarch in the future if she can find a way of doing that. And the fact that her codename is Sweet and Sour is like, yeah, Nino probably doesn't even realize just how much that makes sense. And Marinette is like not having it with Lila being there. And Adrian is like, I understand, but you know, I know you're gonna move past this. You're Marinette, you're too kind to actually hold this grudge. And Lila even comes up to her, is like, I know we've had our differences in the past, but I'd really like to set them aside if we can for the Resistance. And Marinette's like, okay, fine, and shakes her hand. But you know Marinette's gonna be keeping an eye on Lila in the future. And then we get one more scene of Adrian talking to Tomoe and telling her that you know, he used the illusion to give false information to Ladybug and Cat Noir because he knew he was being watched and everything. And he used Nino and Alia and their friends to take advantage of that. And so we get confirmation that Tomoe actually does know that he is Monarch and is on his side. So that's going to be interesting because, like, I want to know when she found out about that, when she learned about that. But yeah, that was the episode. There is a leak online saying that we're supposed to be getting a new episode tomorrow. I've checked the Miraculous Ladybug News website for the countdown, and the site seems to be down for some reason. I've tried going to their website, and it's just completely down. I don't know what's going on. Hopefully that gets fixed. But for now, I guess we just have to rely on Twitter and everything. Even though I really don't want to go on Twitter because there's probably spoilers online. But yeah, this video is getting kind of long, and this is another, oh my goodness, I've been recording for over 50 minutes now. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and stop this here. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this video, then be sure to leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe for more videos from me. We do all sorts of fun stuff on this channel, including playing video games, we do art, and also sometimes talk about cartoons and anime. So if you enjoy that stuff, then be sure to ring that bell icon and never miss a video. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, I hope you all have a very magical day.